Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about what not to post on social media. Now, I wrote a blog post on this, several years back, and it's been shared like 24,000 times. So I know the topic resonates with people because they're looking for content, they're looking for ideas, and they're also looking for what they shouldn't post that might get them into a little hot water. So before we start, I just want to give everybody a shout out as you're coming in. Just let me know where you're coming in from and what the weather is like where you are. So today, I'm in Tampa, Florida still. I'm home. Tomorrow morning, I'm leaving for Social Media Marketing World. I'm speaking out there on Monday. And my topic is about content, specifically about how do you repurpose video content. If you got content, you should be milking it. So I have this theme, got content, milk it, baby. So it's going to be fun and entertaining as well as super valuable. So we've got Judy from Hot Springs. She says it's sunny and cold out there. So it is sunny here today, but it is definitely chilly. For Tampa, when I say chilly, we're in the 50s today, which is chilly for here. If it gets below 70, like this girl is cold. I know, thin blood. If you don't know me and you've never been on any of my lives before, my name is Kim Garst. I'm an online business strategist, and I am super passionate about helping shorten the learning curve when it comes to digital and social media to impact your bottom line. And we have Darcy in the house. Hello, Darcy. She's from Canada. It's sunny and cold. Yeah, I bet. Yeah. And then we've got... I'm trying to get everybody in here. We've got the UK in the house. Welcome. We got Orange County, 75. So I've heard, like I said, I'm getting ready to come to San Diego, and I have heard it's been really nice out there, but it's supposed to get cold again. That's kind of stinky, but we'll just deal with it. So, all right. So I thought before we started today on my 10 things that you should never share, I wanted to share some funnies with you before. Again, you might think these are funny, and I thought they were funny when I read them, but they're only funny in the context of they're. You're like, would somebody really do that? And the short answer is somebody obviously has. So let me read. And I found these, by the way, on Jeff Bullis's website. I was Googling other what not to post kind of things to see if there were, some clever things that I hadn't thought of. And I ran across a blog post that he had wrote fairly recently, and it incorporated what I thought was some funny things. So I'm just going to read these to you real quick because they're hilarious. At least I thought they were. And again, if you think nobody would ever do that, well, yeah, somebody probably has. So I'm good. Like I say, these are funnies. These are not my 10, but I thought everybody should have a giggle. So let's just run through them real quick. So things that Jeff Bullis says you probably shouldn't share on social media. What chicken you're plucking or cow you're milking on Farmville on Facebook. Right? How many you have killed on Mafia Wars or where they are buried? Again, on Facebook. Party photos showing you inebriated or hand placed where it shouldn't be. Yeah, that's probably absolutely happened. That you're having a party. You might get more guests than you've counted on. Right? Photos revealing you flirting with the boss's wife at the annual work Christmas party. Yep, probably not something you want to do. You might not want to share that you're having an affair or that you're even thinking of having an affair. You probably don't want to complain about certain things, depending on what it is. I'm going to talk about that one a little bit more too. That you hate your job and want to leave. You might get your wish involuntarily. Don't share photos or an event that reveals that you are not sick at work, that you're not sick that day at work, that you're planning to take a sickie. Obviously, you don't want to reveal that in advance on social media. Drama with your friends, issues with your parents, passwords unless you have more money than brains, hints about passwords like dog names, updates on Facebook after you've escaped from jail and on the run. Don't laugh. That's happened. Revealing your thoughts about a court case when on jury duty. Again, really? but people absolutely do it. Let's see, what's another one? Financial information, such as how much money you do or don't have in your bank at the moment. Personal information, again, that's something I'll share a little bit more about too. Oh, and this is a biggie. Actually, there's two that are super funny in my opinion. One is don't videotape yourself or go live when you're doing something illegal. Like, hello, right? So, and then another one is bodily functions. Like, really? But it's happened. So those are some kind of funny, humorous things. I thought you guys might get a kick out of it. So in fact, which one did you think was the funniest? Feel free to share that. I just thought some of them were super hilarious. But and the context that you would think that no one would do that. And then you realize, yeah, somebody has done that. So Fiona is saying, San Diego is gorgeous, layer up. Yeah, I've got jackets for, I think, every outfit, which is loading up my suitcase pretty good, but we'll figure it out. Sherry, yeah, that would be super great. Let's do it. Yeah. On the run from the law. There's another. Yes. Like, right. Like, why in the world would you be posting on social media? I don't know if you guys remember this, but it's been a few years back, maybe. And it was a famous football player's like vacation home, and some kids broke into the home and basically trashed his home. Like, they had this massive party in his home and they videotaped it. They took pictures. I mean, because of all that stuff that was shared on social media, it was easy to track down the kids that were involved. And I'm like, one, shame on you for doing such a thing. But like, really? Like, again, if you're going to do something illegal, don't videotape it. Don't post it on social media. Like, hello. But I just, I think that is ridiculous. Okay, so I'm just going to go down my list of 10 things. Some of them do cross over in a couple of places, but most of them don't. So let's get started here. So the first one that I have for you is offensive content. When I say offensive content, I mean like, racial slurs or, crude jokes, and even in some cases, foul language. Now, if foul language is a part of your brand, then go for it. Like, totally. Like, Gary Vee, for example, everybody knows that when you interact with Gary Vee on social media, that you're going to hear foul language. It's just what it is. I noticed recently that he had posted something about he was curtailing his language on LinkedIn, but everywhere else he's full on, totally authentic to who he is. So I just think that is an interesting dynamic where he's, again, understanding that those that are on LinkedIn, different people not really appreciating his language, and he's adjusted for that. But everywhere else, he's totally accepted with the added color of his language. And if that's you, then go for it. But if it's not, and your people are, your community, your tribe, your, aren't like loving that part of it, then, leave that off. It's kind of the way I look at it. But if it's you, do it. Go for it. Next up, gossip or attacks against specific people. Now, I have seen this play out in my space several times, and it's never pretty. And it's so unnecessary. When you are harmed and you feel somebody's done you an injustice, you kind of want to get out there and let the world know, you want to smack back. And it's so much easier, I think, in the social space than just dealing with it in the old fashioned way, pick up the phone and have a conversation, or, go to that person and try to work it out, or, those types of things. And I just feel like that usually if you go down this road, it backfires on you. So just heads up, that's my personal opinion. I don't think you should really go after specific people and, call them out. Now, there are instances where you've done business with someone. Like I had a friend who did business with she bought a cruise, ended up getting a really raw deal. It was through no fault of her own, and they didn't want to own it. They didn't want to take care of her. And so in that perspective, I felt she was kind of honor bound to let people know, other consumers know about that particular brand. But that's a bit of a different animal than, bashing someone personally, is kind of my 2 cents on that. Feel free to give your 2 here as well. Thank you. Thank you for the lovely compliment. I appreciate that. Okay, so next up, number 3 is claiming other people's content as your own. Now, what I mean by that basically is just, and I've seen this again quite a bit in the social space, where you'll see something on social and you're like, wow, that really resonates with me. Copy, paste, boom, you've got your own post. Well, that's not your words. Even though it resonated with you, if you're going to share other people's content, you got to give them credit for it, or get permission to do so even. Technically, I feel like you should get their permission before you share it. Earlier when I was sharing Jeff Bullis's blog post, that is, a public facing document, but I gave him credit for where I got it. I wouldn't have just said, hey, these are funny things and, these are all my ideas. No. I found that those funnies on Jeff Bullis's site, and I'm like, this is where I found them. I want you guys to know that that's where I found it. So you got to remember that there are copyright issues associated with content in the social space. And sometimes I think we forget that because it's so easy just to hit the share button, or it's so easy to copy and paste. And you can really get into a lot of legal issues if you don't abide by this one core thing. Which is just ask. Most people don't care, if you are, giving them credit for something. But if you just steal it and act like it's your own, that's not cool. So that would be my 3rd thing, claiming other people's content. Next up is speaking negatively about an employee, a boss, or coworker. I would even suggest that you could even add a competitor to this, because obviously when you're in the workforce, and many of us are in the online space, right, where maybe we have team members, or and potentially you even work for an online company, or you have coworkers that you work with. But some are in a traditional job, which this is more applicable, I think, in this context. But when you're talking bad and bashing people that you work with, or even, like I say, even a competitor, that's usually never ends well. I've seen places where, people get canned because they've expressed an opinion that, in fact, was it NBC, ABC, some reporter got canned for saying they were a socialist and they called somebody a bad name or something. I mean, it was some dynamic like that, and the point of it is, sometimes when you say things, it's not that you can't say that you aren't free to say what you believe and that kind of thing. But when you turn it and make it a malicious thing, I think that's when it never serves you super well in the social space. Again, personal opinion there. Next up, sharing specifics about an upcoming holiday or a business trip. Now, I did just share with you guys that I'm getting ready to leave to go to Social Media Marketing World. I think the nuances of this, because obviously Social Media Marketing World's a big thing in my space. It's one of the biggest social media events of the year. And, there's a lot of activities around that. A lot of people are going to Social Media Marketing World. What I do try to do when I go to events is not to share where I'm physically at until I'm no longer there. So if we go to a restaurant or something, then I will wait. I will take photos and stuff, selfies or whatever while I'm physically there. And then once I've left, that's when I share the content. That way, when I tag the restaurant, somebody like some creeper, if you will, wants to check out the location, then I'm not there any longer. Now, everybody's different around this, and what I think there's value in sharing when you are on holiday and things of that nature. It's a safety feature, honestly, in my opinion. But I found that if I just kind of keep my locations separate from the overall bigger picture of the experience, then that does give me that layer of protection. So, but it isn't, like I say, it's a safety feature, and you just got to be cognizant of that. Yeah, I love this. So my father always said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. I love that, Darcy. Absolutely. Okay, so let me go back here. We're up to 6 now. So we're moving right along. Private conversations without permission. Now, I think this is honestly true across the board, like even in like life, right? Like if somebody shares something with you and they don't give you permission to share it, then just don't. That's just not cool. But it adds a whole other layer when you're in the social space, because you're not just like sharing that personal information with 1 or 2 people. The potential for like so many more people to see that personal conversation is expounded upon when you share it in the social space. And that's just not, it's just not a good thing. So I would recommend that you don't share private conversations, again, without permission. And then I think too much personal information also is there's layers of decision here, meaning obviously you don't want to share your bank account and routing number, like hello, like, right? But even beyond that, there is balance between what you share and what you don't share. So I'll go back to Gary Vee, because one other example that he is very well known for is that he never shares his children on social media. He said he wants them to be able to make that decision. When they're old enough to decide whether or not they want to be shared on social media, then that will be his thing. So that's his decision. There are others who from birth on share their children in the social space. And I've always said that, like, man, they have such an advantage. People who have the cutesy kids and are a leg up because they have all that great content, because who doesn't want to like engage with a super duper cutie, like, right, a baby, or even the antics that kids go through in childhood. But you now have, because of social media, you have kids' entire lives chronicled on social media. And at some point, they might not appreciate that. So, again, but that's a balance on your side. That's a personal decision, I think, that everybody has to make for themselves. But even the balance between being authentic and sharing the personal side of your life, and then how much is too much. And it is a line. There is a bit of a line, but where is that line? And I really do believe that again is a personal decision for everyone. But when you do like share too much personal all the time, then sometimes it makes people, a little bit uncomfortable. So you just have to decide for yourself. And my best advice to you would be to watch how people engage when you do get uber personal with your sharing. Do you get great reaction? Do people really flock to that type of content? And it is fascinating because a lot of people do appreciate the fact that you're open and that you share your life, and they find that relatable. It just goes back to how much is too much. And I think it goes back to what is comfortable for you. Because at the end of the day, you do have to show up and be real, and a piece of the personal has to be there, or it's not going to be, you're not going to be as impactful in the social space. And again, in my humble opinion. So it's a bit of a fine line. All right, next up, financial information. Again, you would think this would be like a no-brainer. Quick story. I had not a friend, an associate who once shared, they were trying to showcase how much money they had made. And they had taken a screenshot. And that screenshot, when you blew it up, had some pertinent data on it that shouldn't have been shared. And that information was used against them. And that is not a good thing. So, lots of times I think people are, when they're taking screenshots and they're showcasing like, proof, if you will, you just got to be careful that you white out things that shouldn't be shown. I think that's super important. You would think that people would know this, but again, it happens. And I don't feel like that this person that I'm sharing with you did it intentionally. Certainly not. They just didn't think about it, and they didn't really look at the screenshot before they put it out into the world. So be careful. Don't share too much personal information or financial information. Next up is sharing posts or links that aren't substantiated in social media. Okay, so how many of you guys have seen that that post that circles every once in a while that Facebook is going to charge us? Hands up. Here's another great one. So Judy is saying, my son, a police officer, is always warning me not to post I'm going on a trip. Yeah, especially if you don't have anybody left at your home, like nobody's there house sitting or dog sitting or whatever. Yeah, it's a problem. This is another great point. Dana is saying, watch the quizzes that ask for personal information, pets' names, kids' names. Yes, so important, because lots of times we do use, kids' names or variations of kids' names or pets or combination therein for passwords. It's a great phishing exercise for them. So Patty is saying common sense should be your constant companion. Yes, but so many people just don't stop and think sometimes. Just common sense, says Alan. Yes. Okay, so how many of you guys have saw that Facebook is going to be charging us in the near future? Like month out, you're going to have to start paying Facebook. It cycles all the time. I see it quite frequently. And there are other things, especially in this age of, what everybody's calling fake news. There is a lot of fake news out there, but if you are suspect of it or you are getting ready to share it, just go to snoops.com and find out if it's fake or not. I mean, now, not everything is filtered through Snoops, obviously, but a lot of stuff will come up as it being, fake. So just go check it out, because before you share something and you get everybody's panties in a wad and it ends up being fake and you end up looking like an idiot because you shared it. Just check it out. It never hurts to spend just a few extra seconds or minutes, doing your own research before you put it out into the world. Again, like I say, sometimes you get caught up and you see something and you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta share this. I gotta get this out into the world. And then it turns out that it's not true. So, all right. And last but not least, guys, don't share anything that you don't want to be online forever. Even if you delete it, it is still there. It's not gone. Like, for example, if you tweet on Twitter and you decide literally in 5 seconds after you've tweeted it, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have put that out there. Let me just delete that. Sorry. Library of Congress has it already. Like, all of our tweets are stored in the Library of Congress. Now, when I say the Library of Congress has it already, maybe it doesn't have it that quickly, but it's stored somewhere and it will get to the Library of Congress eventually. So, even, the content that's supposedly temporary, really, do we really believe that's true? Like on Snapchat, your content's just disappearing, or, stories are gone after 24 hours. That stuff had to be stored somewhere initially. So be careful. Whatever you put out there has a life. And not only does it have a life, it's not temporary. It's a forever thing. And I kind of tell people, if you don't want your grandmother to see it, then don't share it. It's a good rule of thumb, right? But there are other things, obviously, other qualifications that might. But at the end of the day, we got to be aware that what we put out into the world is always there. Even if edited or, deleted or whatever, it is out there. So thank you. Thank you for saying good info. I hope you got some great stuff from today. And I hope that you got some laughs too from some of those things that people do share on social media that you were like, what? Why would you do such a thing? I have seen some crazy, crazy things. And I bet you it's only a fraction of what actually happens. So just be careful what you put out there into the world, because it sticks. It's got life, permanent life. Do we have any questions? I'm always so appreciative when you guys join me and hang out with me for a little bit. So I'm getting ready to go to, thanks. Thanks, Darcy. Thanks, Dana. Getting ready to, like I said, head out to Social Media Marketing World in the morning, but I will be live Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we've got a special guest. We're going to be talking about thumb stopping content. So don't miss out on that. Tools, it's going to be heavy on the tools. So if you like tools and you like cool apps, then you're going to need to tune in because it's going to have some great resources for you. All right, guys. Hopefully you'll have a great rest of your day, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care. God bless. I'll see you on Monday, hopefully.